Hello everyone, how's it going? With the year drawing to a close, I like to embark on this project and hopefully complete it before we enter the new year. During this year, we have seen two cycles, Mumbad cycle and Flashpoint cycle, bring a whole slew of new cards, new mechanics, and new stuff for us to enjoy. And while some things might not have been the most desirable, such as prison decks and some degenerate decks, on the whole, it's been a really enjoyable year of playing Netrunner, and I hope to express this in this project. I'm looking for well-designed cards in these two cycles. What is a well-designed card? Well, the definitions vary from person to person. Personally, I think a well-designed card offers players a rewarding, or rather should I say, it rewards players for playing that card well. It tests the skill of the player, both in the deck building and the gameplay phase, and it is challenging with a high skill cap to get right. Such a good card is not shoehorned into a particular combo. For example, accelerated diagnostics is almost certainly has to be played with hasty relocation or something like power shutdown. Whereas some other cards have more generic users, and these are the cards I'm looking for. Cards that are not cards that you don't have to build specifically for a single combo, yet when comboed with certain other cards or in the right deck, provides the player with a lot of potential to explore, a lot of good plays to be made. Of course, this is just my definition. Everyone has their own definition, and I'm more than welcome every single one of your ideas and suggestions. I'd like to hear from you. So this is an example of what I think is good card design. Leela has always been and probably will always be my favorite card design to date. And mostly it's because I underrated it so much when it first came out. It looks so unassuming. When an agenda is scored or stolen, the corp loses a click, maybe a couple of credits for their ice install costs. Surely that's not all that much. But when you actually sit down with or against a Leela player, you realize just how cruel this ability can be. The fact that it disrupts anyone who attempts to fast advance agendas, or never advances agendas for that matter, by threatening siphon or some sort of R&D pressure, by bouncing the ice and making their centrals vulnerable, cannot be understated. Not to mention that it also works in the runner's favor in the sense that it rewards aggressive runner play. So you can't really just build a deck that relies on Leela Patel sitting back and waiting for an agenda to be scored. This is a very, very nuanced ID that has a lot of skill testing areas. When do you run? When do you attempt to steal agendas? And how do you punish the corp for scoring agendas? Do you run and cause the rest to be ice? Ice to be res, sorry. If the ice is res, you can't bounce it back. There's lots of decision points as Leela Patel, and I think this is one of the most well-designed identities, if not the most well-designed card in the game. Another example I have is my favorite team sponsorship.
At Shift Division, we don't just make well-designed apparel, we also make well-designed cards. Take your game to the next level with Shift. At Shift, we are committed to helping you make a bold fashion statement. With our wide line of apparels, we have many interesting choices available from you, whether from archives or HQ. You cannot deny that Shift Division will have always what you need in order to succeed. Rest assured that we have harnessed the latest technology in apparel design, so whether you're looking to achieve an astronomical feat, such as going to the moon or click compressing, rest assured we will have the solution for you. Shift your future, only at Shift, a proud subsidiary of Hasbro.
And finally, we move on to Maxx. Well, Maxx is a very interesting identity. It's very straightforward. On the surface, the text box is no longer than two lines. However, there are so many nuances to it as well, just like Leela. While it is simple at first glance and can work out of any deck, that means whatever deck archetype you play in Maxx, it will work. You just draw your deck very quickly. It really rewards deck builders who can make full use of the two cards that you mill every single turn. If you can find the recursion to get these cards into play and then make the most use of them, you will be a very good Maxx player. But how difficult this is something that cannot be underestimated either. The fact that you have so much recursion and most of your deck available to you at a very early stage of the game means that this is actually a very skill testing ID. In fact, one of the most popular decks with Max is Regass Maxx that used to be popular back last year, and that was an incredibly skill testing deck because you had to decide with your recursion pieces: do you recur parasites, do you recur breakers, do you take the tempo loss to recur something, or do you wait one more turn, do you run? There are lots of decision points as Max because there's so many cards available to you in your heap, and knowing when to use your recursion pieces or when to hold them back is key to succeeding with this identity. Not to mention that it scores points flavor-wise for embracing the Anarch theme of power and destruction. Just like Stim Hack, you get a very powerful effect, but at what cost? You have to suffer some of your own. By milling yourself very quickly, you expose yourself to a lot of sneaky corp archetypes such as Rig Destruction, exiling using Arc Lockdown, or maybe even Chronos Projects. That's the worst, not to mention net damage decks. So yes, Max is a very, very interesting identity, and I think it's one that's very skill testing and hence one that is very well designed that both good and casual players can use alike. So I'd like to hear your opinion on what you think are the best design cards in the last two cycles. All the examples that I've given are from previous cycles, but I'd like to hear your take on the Mumbad and the Flashpoint cycle. Since this is a project that will be entirely dependent on your participation, I would sincerely hope and urge all of you to take part. Leave a comment in the comment section describing a well-designed card of your choice and perhaps some explanation of why it is well-designed in your opinion. I'm really open to all ideas, so don't hold back. I won't judge your explanations. To me, there's no right or wrong explanation. Everyone has something to contribute, everyone has their own point of view to share, and I would love to hear from all of you. If you want, you can also include a deck archetype, as what I did with Max and Regass Maxx, but this is entirely optional, and I'm just looking for as much content as possible, so if you have multiple suggestions, please list them all. The more the merrier, shall we say. Take your this is all up to you. The freedom is on your side. Write as little or as much as you want. So, once again, I hope all of you will participate in this. As I said, I'm trying to build a community of people who build upon each other's suggestions and contribute and hopefully share their ideas so that we can all benefit from your insight. So hopefully everyone will participate in this. I'll be really thankful in advance for your participation. With that, I'll leave you with the list of cards that have been printed in the last two cycles. Pause the video if you need more time to view them. In the meantime, thanks for watching and I'm looking forward to your responses. See you in the new year.